G'day everyone, it's Trixie Bricks here, and today I'm going to be doing my LEGO Castle Factions tier maker. The best factions, like the awesome ones, I'm going to have in the King tier. The next best factions that are really friggin' good, I'm going to put in Queen. Then the decent factions, I'm going to put in Bishop. The average factions will go in Rook. The meh will go in Knight. And the awful factions will go in Pawn. Alright, let's get started. The Raven Knight. Well, for their price and how they cost and everything, they belong here. But I'd have to put them in the Queen. I think their colour scheme is really cool and unique. They're the only one like it, and their faction sigil is really cool in my opinion. I unfortunately do not have any, and they would break my bank account, so no thank you. Next we have the fantasy era Crown Knights, and maybe a little bit biased, but I have to put them in King. It's what I grew up with, and they are amazing. I love their detailing. It's very realistic medieval, their armor. And I love their designs and everything. So they have to go in King for me. Now we have the Vikings. They are a very good faction. They definitely belong in Queen. They are very unique. And, I've started watching Vikings, so that is a good place to put them. Next we have these Dragon Knights, who I'm going to put in Rook. I think they're pretty good, but not my cup of tea. Next we have the Scorpion Knights, who are a bit better than them, but I still think that they're just not that unique. Then with the Bull Knights, who I think are really cool. They have really cool detailing. It's kind of like if the Mongolians were a bit in the medieval era. It looks really cool. I love their helmets, as like the bull horns and that, and I think their colour scheme is really cool. Next we have these knights, who I do not know, but their sigil is atrocious, so they're going to go there. Now we have the Fright Knights, who I think are really cool. I love their vampire aesthetic. Basil the Batlord's helmet is incredible. The CMF figure is really cool. And I think everything about the Fright Knights is awesome, except for their builds. They were a bit, what are you doing, mate? Now we have the Royal Knights. Oh! Now we have the Crown Knights. And what a big blunder. Now we have the Dragon Knights, who I think are really dope. But they're cool, but they just seem a little bit lesser compared to, like, say, the Black Falcons or the Lion Knights. And they have Magisto the Mage and that. But I think they're cool, but they're just a bit bland. Now we have the Wolfpack, who are awesome. Their new 2023 and 2025 figures are really cool. And I love the unique design they have, and the olden day ones. Back when the dinosaurs were roaming, it was really cool as well. I love that peasanthood that they don't produce anymore. I think that they're really good. and you can use them for many things. You can use them as their intended purpose as bandits, or you can use them as like witches if you were gonna do a Witcher mock or whatever. You could use their pieces for that. And for me, I'm in my fantasy castle world, I'm using them as monster hunters, so that's really cool. Now we have the Bear Knights, who I think are also really cool. There's only the one CMF figure, but their long robes and their chainmail, they're a really cool faction, and it'd be nice if they released like the Raven Knights and Bear Knights into full into a full like set wave. Now we have these Dragon Knights, who are a little bit better than the other ones, so I'll put them here. They're pretty similar, but they're a bit better. Now with the Dark Forestmen. The Dark Forestmen. They go here, I think the normal Forestmen are much better, because, you know, they're Robin Hood and his merry men. Now we have Robin Hood and his merry man. I think they're a very simple aesthetic, but I think they're really cool. I love their whole Robin Hood aesthetic, and it'd be nice if they released like a Robin Hood figure. They just have to release a Robin Williams with the yellow skin tone. I think that'd be pretty dope. Oh, now we have the Lion Knights, who I think are really good. They're a little bit of a reused faction, because there's a million Lion Knights, so that's where they're a little bit lower. But I like their new prints. I like their castle. Their castle's definitely the top of king. But I think some of the other minifigures and sets are a bit more unique, but their castle is the best castle set ever. Now we have the Black Falcons. My favourite faction. A little bit biased, but these guys got me back into Lego in general, so gotta put them high. I love their dark blue and their dark pearl grey designs. I think using the silver armour and the dark pearl grey is like their chainmail, and then you can put silver arms on them and it's like they're heavy armour plated, and I think it is really good, especially for the cavalry. I think their blacksmith is very cool, and their 3-in-1 castle is decent, but obviously nothing compared to the Lion Knights castle. But hopefully we get a proper castle for them in the future. Now we have these knights. I can't put them at the bottom because they're the reason castle exists in the first place, with the yellow castle. But, you know, it's just like, here's a generic castle faction. And the CMF figure was pretty trash. Pretty trash garbage. Now we have these, the Red Dragon Knights, or as I call them, the Dragon Cultists. I think they're decent. Their set wave was pretty bad. The main castle was, but the dragon ruins with the dragon mold and the sorcerer were very cool. I do enjoy this set, and I like the heavily armored figure, the one with the horse barding and everything, the heavy armor. I think he's great. But the others, I think, they're just pretty average, especially compared to the kingdoms before it. Now we have these knights who are pretty much the same, but just not as good, because they're like the Lion Knights, but they're like the Crown Knights at the same time. I'm using them as an extension as my Crown Knight army, but the heavy armor plating with the line with the crown is pretty dodgy when it's in the set. I think they're good, but just very average. Now we have the Green Dragon Knights, who are fantastic. Their fortress set, incredible. Wish they got a castle. I love their aesthetic. They're the evil guys. They're just plain evil. No, maybe they're misunderstood. No, they're evil. And I love it. I love their heavy armor, their light armor. They just have an incredible design. And out of 10, they get a 9. Now we have these Lion Knights, who I think are really cool, but just not on the same level as the Dragon Knights. Now we have the Trolls, who I think were very cool, and I grew up with them, and their warship was great. Their big wheel was also very cool. I have their siege tower. I mean, all their sets were just amazing, and their figures were amazing, and the CMF figure, it's like they're the best faction that's not humanoid, and they're amazing. Now we have the Dwarves, who could have been up here, but they end up being here, because their helmets are cool, their beards are cool, they're big bushy beards. Their armor's pretty trash because it's just reused Viking and Crown Knight torsos. Fortunately, you can't see it, but it'd be good to get something different. But they're just not that unique. However, their main mine set was very dope and very cool, so they have that going for them. And now the Skeletons, who are a decent faction. Not good, not bad, just a decent faction. But their fortress, their skull fortress with, I don't know, Cyrus the Sorcerer was very cool. So I really like them. Well, this was my tier maker. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you didn't get upset. But if you did, let me know in the comments. You should have put the Dark Forest men at the top. What are you doing, Trickster Bricks? Yeah, do all your hate comments if you want. Do all your love comments if you want, but not too naughty. And have an amazing day, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye.